Moments ago, Jack Arute spoke with Coach Smith as he came out of the locker room. Jack?
And Brent, he told me that in the locker room, he very quietly told his players, play and be yourselves. The same can't be said, though, for Larry Smith. When I asked him what it meant to him emotionally to be on the sidelines in this game, Brent, he couldn't answer me. He broke down in tears. That's the kind of emotional roller coaster that Larry Smith has ridden here at Missouri. But he's back, and they're back here today in Judgment Day to try and beat their foe, Nebraska.
And on the other side, the man who won 250 games faster than any coach in history, Tom Osborne, did it last week against Oklahoma. The Big Red Machine. And until proven otherwise, this, in my opinion, is clearly the #1 team in the nation. I don't care how many telephones or graduates you got. You got to beat this team on the field, ladies and gentlemen. That's where it belongs. And Chris Brown, number 35, will kick it off for the Cornhuskers. Ricky Ross and Devin West are standing back at the 4-yard line, and we'll be underway here in Columbia. Picked up by Ross. Hurdles to the 21-yard line, where we will take a look at Corby Jones, number 7, fine, improving quarterback, and Brock Olivo, the all-time rusher here at Missouri, an effort man. Wide receivers, Kent Lehman, maturing for the Tigers as the fall progresses. He's the go-to guy, number 84. But here's the key. How will this line hold up? Travis Beeble, can he get the job done against Wistrom today? We're about to find out. The first play of the game now for Corby Jones against this great Nebraska defense. 1 touchdown in 3 weeks. Straight eye. Jones going to throw it on first down. Gets one-on-one and a completion. Number 84, and there is Lehman making the first reception, so it didn't take Jones long to get the ball up against this defense. They know they can't sit in and run against Jason and Grant Wistrom all day long. Perhaps 2 of the finest defensive linemen in college football today. Octavius McFarland scooped up a fumble against Oklahoma and sent Nebraska on their way a week ago. Erwin Sweeney is number 16. He's a freshman. He's over on the left corner defensively right now, lining up. Missouri is going to test him. They show 8 in the box right now, and Sweeney goes with a motion man, and Olivo with his first carry, and it's a first down, Missouri. There's the difference. The first 6 games, when they were struggling, they rallied after a nightmare of a loss to Kansas State. And over their last 3 games, 495 yards, Dan.
And Brent, you talked about the time of possession that they had last week against Colorado. Well, that's really been the key. Each game this year, they have had the advantage in the time of possession. And the key for them has been good plays on first down. And we're seeing a new type of down marker being used here today. And perhaps Brock Olivo came up a little bit short. Jerry Burnt, the offensive coordinator, told us yesterday that it's important to get good yardage on first down, but in order to keep drives alive, you got to convert on these third downs.
So here is the 3rd and inches. They'll show a split back formation with Ron James offset a little bit, and Olivo the tailback. And right straight ahead goes Corby Jones. Jones, the junior from right here in Columbia. His daddy is the defensive line coach of the Tigers.
His daddy, Curtis Jones, played here in Missouri as a 220-pound defensive end. Well, that's what Corby weighs right now. And this field, as you can see, has been torn up and rained during the week. And it's real soft in the middle of the field between the hash marks.
They go to a jumbo lineup using Chris Meredith as an extra tight end, wearing the number 99. Corby keeps it, and Nebraska jumps on him, and Corby dives forward to the 32. Octavius McFarland there, number 4, making the read for the Cornhuskers.
Both these teams on offense are very similar. In fact, Larry Smith would like to pattern his team after what they do up there in Lincoln. You can see that the big thing here is that the fact that you can run the ball on the ground. You're going to be successful here in the Big 12.
Sweeney, the freshman corner, is locked up to the left or the short side of the field. This is 2nd and long. And they break across. That's the tight end, Eddie Brooks, who jumped the snap count for Missouri, and this will be a costly 5 yards.
Eddie Brooks is in the lineup because he's a good receiver.
Prior to snap, false start. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
And he was on his way to the secondary on a pass route. A little too soon, though.
That's John Laurie from Emporia, Kansas, who's our referee today. His umpire is Richard Wittenberg out of Lubbock, Texas. Coach Osborne looks on across the way. Chance now to close down the Missouri offense after 1 first down and get their first possession. 2nd down and long for Corby, who's changing up at the line. He's looking at 1 deep, and now Sweeney backs off the line. They're pressing with Brown at the top, and timeout is going to be called. Corby Jones was about to throw apparently into the teeth of that defense, and Larry Smith told us yesterday that if he sees something he doesn't like, doesn't want, use the timeout and come on over to the sideline and we'll talk about it. Rather do that than serve up an interception down here. So we will take a break. Just underway here in Columbia. No score. We'll be right back. Facing a 2nd and 16, and Dan, you don't have a play like that for a Nebraska defense.
Well, it's important that they just get half of it and try to pick up the other half on 3rd down.
So here we go. Corby Jones under center, straight eye behind him, 2 wideouts and a tight end. Lehman's his motion man, and they'll chase with Sweeney, and Corby's going to keep it, and they didn't get close to half. McFarland checks in on him first, and Peter jumps in second on him, and nothing doing, and now you're in 3rd and a bunch.
Real tough to run an option against Nebraska. They play against the option all the time. In fact, Nebraska's toughest game on offense each year may be their spring game where they're going against their own defense.
Third down and 14. Devin West into the backfield and the shotgun look. Steps into the gap defensively and backs back out on Corby. Plenty of time. Receivers covered, and Corby, an outstanding runner, is going to be close to a first down. Not going to get it. Great defense at the 40-yard line by number 22. Made it extremely close over there. Ralph Brown, the sophomore corner, coming up right at the marker to bring Corby down. That is a big-time defensive play.
This is a great play, Brent, because what Brown did is he forced Corby to go to the outside. And I think Corby should have lowered his shoulder and taken on the defensive back instead of turning to the sideline. Look at that tackle, head inside, pushes him out of bounds.
And they're going for it. Oh, baby. What a gamble here early. 4th down and short, but they're 9 of 10 on 4th down conversions. Let's see if Smith keeps it right in Corby's hands. Let's see if they use a hard count immediately. We're going to have a timeout. Nebraska is going to take a timeout. They had the punt return team already on the field. So if nothing else, it cost Nebraska a timeout. Let's see what Smith and Missouri counters with now.
Well, the one thing that Missouri has in their favor is they have some huge running backs. Ron James, the fullback, 275 pounds. Look for Brock Olivo to line up in the deep I behind James, and maybe they'll even put in Devin West or Ernest Blackwell to form a jumbo backfield. And then you got to count the quarterback. Corby Jones was picked up the first down on 3rd and short earlier in this drive. So they have a lot of big guys and a lot of options that they can use in this situation.
I'll tell you one other option they've got. Corby Jones from the shotgun can punt it on 4th down and short. If they do not show a deep man, Corby Jones is one of 3 punters on this Missouri team right now. And if they can get an open field back there, he may go for it. Although I am sure the Nebraska coaches are reminding the defensive backfield of just that possibility right now.
Well, the one thing, if Jones goes back into a short punt formation or shotgun formation, then now Jones is in there. They are going with the power I formation.
All right. Ernest Blackwell, James is in there along with Olivo, and here they come. Corby Jones hands it off. First down, Missouri. They answer the first test with Ernest Blackwell, the senior from St. Louis. And Smith and Missouri serves notice that they will not back down from number 1. Here they come.
This offensive line has just done a great job these last 4 games now. Watch the surge as they come off. Hamburger, Nehmeyer, and then the big fullback, Blackwell, picks up the first down rather easily.
Olivo gets about as deep in that backfield as any tailback we've seen this season. He's a good 8 yards behind Corby. Long reach. Corby sprints out right, going to throw it to an open man. It's Brooks. 35, 30, 25, out of bounds at the 22. The crowd alive in Columbia on the opening drive for Corby Jones and the Tigers.
It's a play action fake, and from the far side here, that's the backside tight end. This is number 3, Eddie Brooks, coming out of the backfield. It's a huge gain for Missouri as they just have a whole lot of momentum and confidence operating with number 7 right now.
Mike Brown and Sweeney caught up in the coverage, and Brooks comes free as the clock comes on down. 10-23, the best defense against Nebraska. Keep possession of the ball. James to the 18-yard line. And again, that clock continues to tick away. The Big Red, they haven't touched it yet here this afternoon.
A key 3rd down conversion on 3rd and short, and then the 4th down and 1 when they come up with the big line, the big backs in the backfield, and give it to Blackwell. But they have 4 running backs that can do a lot of damage, plus number 7.
So against Osborne's defense, they've taken it down more than 5 minutes already. 2nd down and 7 for the Tigers, and Corby changes it up. Olivo gets so deep, has to come up to get a quick count on it. Short drop, going to throw the fade for the corner against Brown, incomplete. Kent Lehman, the intended receiver, and Corby wanted him one-on-one for the fade.
This offensive line has been run blocking extremely well last couple of games. Well, today they're giving Jones a lot of time to throw as well. Quick 3-step drop that time, and Corby just overthrew his receiver. That might have been a jump ball situation in the corner of the end zone. How about this for ball control? Right now, 11th play coming up, Brent.
And the clock down at 9.5 minutes against Nebraska. 3rd down and 7. That's Olivo. In motion. Corby's going to throw in a hurry. Spins away beautifully. 20, 15, Goes for the first down and out of bounds at the corner. A beautiful spinning move with Brian Shaw saving the touchdown over there.
Actually, it's Brian Shaw who can't bring down the 220-pound Corby Jones. This effort is just outstanding. This is the way he's been playing the last 3 weeks. Watch the effort to get into the end zone as he breaks another tackle. That one's Mike Brown. And finally, Jay Foreman comes over. I'm not so sure that ball wasn't across the goal line.
Corby on a quick handoff. It'll leave him over the top. Missouri strikes first. Nickman attempting the extra point. Missouri 7, Nebraska nothing. But perhaps more important than it. And Microsoft, where do you want to go today? Missouri 7, Nebraska nothing. Cornhuskers will handle the ball with 9:23 left in the opening period. Short and high. Walker from the 9, 20. Down at the 25-yard line. So Scott Frost, number 7, will bring the offense out here for Coach Osborne. Amon Green, over 1,000 yards rushing. And our Chili's lineup also features Joel Makovica at fullback. Kenny Cheatham, number 6, steps into that starting lineup today for the Big Red. Behind their usual assortment of great offensive blockers, Josh Heskew played awfully well against Oklahoma a week ago. Here's the first down. Great option team. Frost, Makovica, and Green. Sheldon Jackson, the tight end. And Frost going to throw on first down. Cheatham reaches down, incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. The front 4 for Missouri defensively today, and this is the group that must hold up. Marquise Gibson has been a great rush man, but is he big enough against this stout offensive line? We're about to find out. Huge change at the linebacking core. Kevin Ford moves back to bandit. He was an inside man a few weeks back. And in the defensive backfield, Wade Perkins, number 22, draws the start today. Bobby Newcomb out wide is a receiver. Frost runs the option. Here's a pitch to Amon Green, and he's blasted after a 1-yard gain. Barry Odom and Justin Wyatt, number 39 and number 90, are there defensively for the Tigers.
This is a great start for the Missouri defense, almost as good as their offensive start was. Watch the speed here. You talked about Wyatt as he and Gibson run a stunt at the top of the screen. Gibson takes away the inside, and there's just no place for Amon Green.
Third down and 8 for the Huskers. Now option to the wide side. Amon Green trying to catch the corner, and he is out of bounds at the 37. That's a first down for Nebraska.
This is an excellent play on third down as the 2 receivers on this side ran off the defensive backs. And watch the effort now by Amon Green as he's going to lower his head and dive and pick up the first down.
Cheatham out wide to the right. Wiggins to the left for Frost. An option up to the wide side, and Frost wants to get a lick. Out at the midfield mark, another first down for Nebraska. Harold Piercy, the junior free safety, and he'll be busy today. The young man from Kansas City making stops. That's a 13-yard gain for Scott Frost.
Now here is Piercy, number 2. He's their #1 tackler, and this is why. But the bad thing about this is it's about 10 or 11 yards down the field, and it's another first down for the Cornhuskers.
Cornhuskers are on the move. 3 wideouts, 1 running back. Trail it by 7. Frost pinside pitch. Amon Green's got daylight to the 40. Donnell Jones, the nose man, got in.
Right, this was almost an inverted option play. It goes down as a forward pass. It's a shovel pass inside, but for the quarterback, he reads it. He reads it just like an option play. Watch the teamwork between Frost and Green. There's the option to the inside. Another good play for Nebraska.
2nd down and 2, and it's Amon Green stopped. Let's check in with John Saunders. When you come back, it'll be 3rd down.
Brent, time for the Burger King update. Michigan already up 3-0 on Penn State. Anthony Thomas takes this one and rumbles 12 yards for the touchdown. The Wolverines jump in front 10-0 in the first quarter. Meantime, Colorado in a battle against Iowa State. They've trailed throughout the game, but right now lead it by 5. Brent, back to you.
John, I can't believe you let Todd Blackledge get away with picking Penn State. I mean, that isn't fair, partner. Dan Deerdorf says it's all Michigan out here. He's watching this game today. 3rd down and 1. Frost going to change it up. Crowd alive. Runs Makovicka. Here's the option. Frost for the first down. The Missouri player is injured and down at the 38-yard line. That's Brian Craycraft, senior from Mesa, Arizona, one of the defensive linemen. They're already a little bit shorthanded at that spot, and they can not afford to be losing players like Craycraft. This is the big concern for Larry Smith and the entire Missouri coaching staff. Can the defense hold up against Nebraska here this afternoon? That was the #1 issue. They were pretty confident coming into this game that the offense could move the ball, and I think we saw why on that last series when they consumed more than 5 minutes and marched in for a touchdown. But for Moanke, the defensive coordinator there in the glasses, and the rest of the staff, the issue becomes one of trying to stop a team that is averaging 500 total yards a game. Scott Frost got hit right on the top of the head. He got up. He objects to that. Watch him point at the perpetrator over there.
He certainly should object to it. He was on his way back to the huddle. Talk about a late hit. Kevin Ford was the guy. But, you know, the thing that Anke told us about, too, Brent, is that when you prepare for Nebraska, because they have so many ways of running the option, it's almost like preparing for a whole season in just 1 week. The one thing Tom Osborne will do with his team each year is rejuvenate his offense. Give them more types of option plays to run, and nobody in the nation does it better than Osborne's team.
Sophomore Steve Erickson checks in at defensive tackle. He's a young man out of Dallas, Texas, about to be tested on first down, quarterback draw, and Frost to the 31 with Erickson hanging on. So right away, number 94 gets in on the action.
Yeah, he's been playing quite a bit lately. They've been running in Erickson and Jeff Marriott because of what you talked about. They get worn down at certain parts of the game. And when you go up against Nebraska, they have so many players. Their second offensive line is almost as good as their first offensive line.
Jeff Lake, who's been a bit nicked up, checks in along with Lance Brown, who is the wingback. And Frost here on 2nd and 5. Brings the option. Now the pitch to Amon Green. Green for the first down. Free. And finally out of bounds, but inside the 15-yard line. Easter, the strong safety from Houston, pushing him out. But you can see now the Big Red marching down the field. That's 18 more yards.
Watch the strength of Amon Green as he's going to break the arm tackle of number 90, Justin Wyatt. And Wyatt's a big man, but Green, with good leverage that time, gets down all the way inside the 15-yard line.
First down and 10 inside the 15. Makovicka on a spinner. for perhaps a yard. A young man who has not lost any yardage yet this season. And of course, he shouldn't be losing too many yards from that up back or fullback position. But that time Al Sterling stopped him about as close to the line of scrimmage as you can make it. Makovic a week ago scoring 3 touchdowns. Dan, you had a very good point. You've never seen a fullback walk in untouched as many times as Makovic did a week ago.
He had 3 touchdowns. One was from about 5 yards out, another one from about 35, another one from 32, and he was not touched on any of them.
Cheatham and Newcomb are the wide receivers, and they're showing bump and run on Newcomb. I hope the corner can run on him. And a penalty flag is thrown by the referee. Vershawn Jackson moved across.
Snap. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. Second down.
Next week, North Carolina goes to Clemson, Washington, UCLA in a Rose Bowl, Colorado, Kansas State for those of you in Big 12 country, and of course we will have a Big 10 matchup which we will announce later. Now with the penalty, it is 2nd down and 13. High snap, Frost brings it down. 6 points. Not to be denied. Scott Frost into the end zone.
Quarterback draw all the way, too, Brent. 16 yards and a great effort going over 3 Tigers at about the 2-yard line.
Here is Chris Brown, one of the best kickers in college football. When you want to argue about who's #1, do not overlook the kicking game, and do not overlook the improvement of #7, Scott Frost.
The one thing about the Missouri attack is it's a lot like Nebraska's. I mean, Jones can be equally as dangerous as Scott Frost running the ball.
There's Charlie McBride down on the sideline. Long time great defensive assistant under Tom Osborne. Not one that's going to panic in this situation. Ernest Blackwell and Devin West are now the running backs. The fullback is very dangerous here. Blackwell. Lehman goes in motion for Mizzou. This will be West behind the left side, and you can see how they stopped him with Grant Wistrom, number 98, and over on the sideline, Scott Frost putting on the flak jacket, now puts the shoulder pads back on, and he'll be ready to go. He is a warrior.
He must have had a problem with his pads, putting the flak jacket on. That's probably part of his normal equipment. He must have ripped something loose with that great dive into the end zone.
2nd down and 7. Keeping Lehman in motion, trying to get him against that freshman. Corby rolls, keeps it, and he is stopped short of the 25-yard line. So nothing doing right now for Missouri with Mike Rucker along with Jay Foreman. So the linebackers moving quicker to stop Corby Jones and take the keeper away from him on that slant play on this series.
Well, what happens, Brent, is the linemen get double teamed a lot, so that means the linebackers are free to flow. Nobody gets a very good block on number 44.
Chuck Foreman's son. Fine young linebacker. 3rd and 5. Now Jones roll left. Steps away from trouble, but no longer. Down in a heap. Sacked at the 19-yard line. Jason Peter, number 55, leads the way that time. Jason Wiltz was also there, but there is a great defensive tackle, number 55.
Boy, there's just one Husker after another coming after Corby Jones here. There's 2 goes flying by, and then on the outside, Ortiz flies by and turns him back into the red pants of Nebraska.
So here it is 3 and out, and Jason Smith. And to punt first for Missouri. Newcomb, the middleman. Let's see if they punt away into the side. This is going to be a short. And Nebraska will wind up with outstanding field position. A short field for Scott Frost and the Cornhuskers coming up. A 24-yard punt. Now, Coach Larry Smith works with the special teams, and it doesn't make any difference, Coach, how much hang time you got this time. That was not far enough, baby. You don't even have to look at the hang time on this one.
No,
take a bounce, he said.
Maybe you're timing bounce time on a punt.
Nothing like that.
Yeah. It's amazing. Larry Smith told us yesterday that when they were backed up that Vince Zebo would be his punter.
You know coaches. First down and 10. Here's the toss to Amon looking for an alley. The crease is there, and Amon Green battles his way to the 27-yard line. Perhaps overlooked in the discussion of great running backs. But a man who continues to pile up the yards. 15 more for Amon.
This is just great patience. And usually you get this with a good running back behind a good offensive line. Look at that. Makovica gets into the mix. And it's another big gain for Amon Green as he's almost halfway to 100.
2:42 to go. Score is tied as Missouri struck first here in Columbia. Now the Cornhuskers bobble the snap. Now a late handoff to Amon. Slowed down at the 21-yard line. Still picked up 6 yards on that carry.
When you go back to that punt, and even before that, the sack of Corby Jones of 7 yards, and you see how important field position is. Last week, Nebraska had incredible field position against Oklahoma. They come back, they answer the opening touchdown by Missouri with a nice 74-yard drive of their own, and now on offense, they just go half the field.
Shevin Wiggins and Matt Davison in on offense. They're the wideouts. Here's Makovica. There's the play that netted 3 touchdowns. This time it nets a first down inside the 15-yard line, and Piercy, the safety, making the stop for the Tigers.
Now for a 235-pound fullback, Makovica has pretty nifty feet. Little belly play here. Makes a couple of moves there. Gets all the way to the safety and all the way inside the 15.
Brainerd, Nebraska played 8-man football. As many of the Nebraska fullbacks through the years have come out of that 8-man program in that state. 1:30 to go coming up on a first down and 10 for Nebraska inside the 15-yard line. 7-7. Scott Frost on a keeper again, cuts back into the middle, and he's going to be down at the 2-yard line. He is an awesome runner because he's not scared to take punishment. He's unbelievable. He takes you on like a fullback.
Well, remember the shot he took from Kevin Brown earlier in the game when he was getting up off the ground? I think he's mad. And when you add a little anger to athletic ability like that, look how far he takes Shad Chris down the field after contact.
What he's accomplished already today, averaging almost 10 yards a pop and scored 1 touchdown. And at 1:11, we've got a timeout called by Nebraska. Frost wants to talk it over with Coach Osborne and the staff on the other sideline. So a reminder, tomorrow's programming coming your way on ABC. The Thrifty Car Rental Skate America show starring Tara Lipinski at 1 Eastern time, 3 Pacific. And the Lincoln Mercury Kapalua International, the final round. Davis Love has always made it over there to Hawaii. Playing our friend Mark Rolfing's tournament over there. He'll be up amongst the leads. You can bet on that. Always plays well in that tournament. 1:10 to go. It's 7-7, but Nebraska is threatening to storm in again. Smith still concerned about that defense. That was the big issue coming into this game, but his punter betrayed him the last time out too, giving Nebraska outstanding field position. Well, there are the Big 12 rushers, and there are some good, no-make-it great ones. Ricky Williams, 4 consecutive weeks of 200-plus yards on a team that's gone 1-3. Amon Green with 13 touchdowns. There's Corby Jones and Scott Frost. The 2 quarterbacks are 3 and 4, and the 2 are probably vying for the Big 12 quarterback of the year right here in this game. Amon Green and Legate in. Green stopped short. Could not battle his way into the end zone. stopped at the 1-yard line on the first down handoff, and that was a heck of a stop with Piercy, number 2, in from that safety spot, making another stop.
Yeah, that really was a great job of 2 men finding the ball carrier and making the tackle. Piercy really lowered his head and made a great play.
He's been a standout defensively, but he'd like that defensive line and the linebackers to start making a few more stops. Here's your second down and goal. Remember Makovica, but this time Frost is hit, spins away to the right, and touchdown Nebraska. Delayed call, they waited to see, and Frost scores his second touchdown of this game.
And 12th of the season, but it's the effort here, Brent. You called it. He gets hit right there short of the end zone, but he spins across and clearly gets into the end zone for his second of the day. I guess the lesson here is don't make Scott Frost mad.
Indeed. You see him start to undress on that sideline. Beware.
Maybe go put on some more pads.
Yeah. So the extra point is good. And just like that, 2 possessions, 2 scores. Missouri woke him up. It's 14-7 Cornhuskers. Jackaroo, how you voting on Judgment Day, partner?
Well, Brent, first I've got to get my computer to do it. You know, Judgment Day, you can vote right now. You can go to AOL, keyword is ABC Sports, or go on the internet to ESPN.com, and you can vote which way you think it should be. Who should be number 1? When was the last time, Brent, we had so many people that were undefeated this late in the season? I think it's only been, what, 5 times throughout the year, throughout the season? And they say it's 10-0 Michigan. Get those votes in. I feel like I'm doing a telethon or something here, Brent.
Hey, Jack, dial up that computer and vote for the Huskers for me, will you, my friend? No one has gone on the road like they did into Washington and fallen behind and won a quality game. Then handed Oklahoma its greatest defeat ever. Tom Osborne and the Cornhuskers hope to be headed down to the Orange Bowl and play for the national championship, and they're inviting one and all, whoever can make it. West and Ross back deep. On the ground, high, tough bounce. Ricky Ross has got it. Sprints left, 25, alley, 30, 35. Brown blocked near midfield. And number 3, a defensive starter for the Huskers, Eric Warfield, may have saved the day for Nebraska. Chris Brown was coming over on the play, and he was blocked.
And he was blocked by Devin West, number 32. 47-yard return now for Ricky Ross. Look at the effort out in front there. That may have been an illegal block, but Ford did turn his back on the blocker. And that's exactly what Missouri needs, is a short field.
And they've got one, Dan, 48 yards. Let's see if they can make it work for them. James checks in at that fullback spot. He'll be lined up, and they show wide open. They flood with 3 wide receivers for Corby to the right. It's a passing game that's been improving. He's going to throw bouncer as the defensive pressure got to it. And he had no chance to throw the spiral out to his 3 wide receivers. What a defensive front Nebraska features. Take a look at Jason Peter. Look at him get off the ball, number 55.
Well, then watch him get his hands up. And that's why that ball came out bouncing. 6'5". Corby Jones, about 6'1", maybe not quite that tall.
Hey, my friend right down the road, Dick Vermeil in St. Louis, he better take a look at this Jason Peter. Man, this kid's an awesome defensive tackle. Second down and 10. Corby fakes the handoff. Sprint right. Got it. Makes free at the 30-yard line. Murchison and out of bounds. Great effort that time by number 81, Jay Murchison, the senior from Richmond, Virginia.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, Corby Jones got together with his wide receivers, and he asked them to make big plays. This is a pretty good throw by Jones, and a great effort that he never saw by his wide receiver, Jay Murchison. Watch as he spins away from Brown. He gets a little help from his tight end and sets up the offense in good shape here at the end of the first quarter.
Well, there's been a lot of hype about a lot of football games this week. But I'll tell you one thing. And we go down to Jackaroo. Jack.
For an offensive coordinator from Missouri, Jerry Burns says one of the reasons why the offensive line is performing so well now is because of this man, Andy Moeller. One of the things that I've noticed on the sidelines here is each time the O-line comes off the field, he gathers them around and literally begins to continue the teaching process. In addition, one of the things he just said to them is, you've got to believe in yourselves. So far, they do.
Andy, one time a linebacker up at Michigan. Gary Moeller, his daddy. Second down and 5. Option from Frost. To the 35-40. 45 and finally out of bounds as he tightrope walked the sideline at the 48-yard line and a first down for Nebraska. 15 more yards, and there's a pair. Wistrom and Peter. But the defense over here has to be concerned. And Dan, you made the point about Wistrom and possible leg injury, you said?
Brent, he has a bruised thigh that's real close to his knee. And what happens then is you get all this fluid that seeps down into the knee and makes the knee very sore. But you sure can't tell by the way he plays.
First down. Frost in the eye. Fake to Amon. Wide open. Another first down. A beautiful pattern run by Sheldon Jackson, the pass receiving tight end that time, number 88.
Boy, just like that, in 2 plays, Nebraska picks up 30 yards. Frost is so determined, though. It's great to watch his improvement from just a year ago. No pass rush at all, and a wide open tight end.
Kenny Cheatham off to the quarterback's left here on first down. Ball is at the Missouri 36-yard line. Nebraska and Missouri tied at 14, and Amon Green is stopped on first down. Harold Piercy joined the fray again from that safety spot, helping out on that tackle.
Barry Odom threw a shoe making that tackle on Amon Green. That's a big hit when your shoe comes off when you tackle a guy.
So the Huskers offensive line will get down for the 2nd and 8. Wade Perkins, number 22, is the new corner. Frost options wide side, pitch Amon Green. Out of bounds, but inside the 30-yard line and short of a first down. So a third down coming up here for the Huskers. That was Shad Chris, number 5. Certainly one of their best defensive backs.
You know, Brent, it looked like Missouri did a good job of stringing this play out. Sam Joshua, number 51 there. But then you look up and Green gets real close to a first down. Even when Missouri seems to make a good play on defense, Nebraska's picking up yardage.
Third down and 2. Can they stop Makovicka and Green here? Makovicka leads. Green searches, got it. Inside the 20. Now breaks free. And Amon Green to the 7-yard line. Almost turned a first down into a touchdown run. 21 yards. Bad tackling on the corner by the Tigers.
You know, a lot of his success today, Brent, and all season long, has come to the short side of the field. This offensive line is just blotting out any black shirt there is. Taylor getting way down the field to add another key block.
Easter hanging on from behind, or it would have been 6. 11 carries. 86 yards for Amon Green. Tied at 14. 11 and a half to go. On the first and goal, Makovicka spins to the 3-yard line. Erickson reaching in on the stop for the Tigers that time.
And you've got to be aware of the fullback in this type of offense. Makovicka comes in with a 7.7 yards per carry average. Not quite up to that yet today, but look at the yards that his quarterback and his tailback are making.
Nose man, Donnell Jones, number 97, checks into the goal line defense. Second down and goal. Ball is at the 3-yard line. Frost eyes the defense. He's scored twice today. Brings the option. Going to keep it, and he'll be short this time. They were ready for the quarterback keeper. He probably would have been better off pitching the ball that time. Joshua and Jones, who just checked in, made the stop for the Tigers.
It's such a split-second decision for the quarterback on the option. He's got to read the defense as he's running, knowing that their guy's coming to knock his block off.
You know, number 51 right there, that's Joshua. He's the only player on the Missouri team who was alive in 1973, which was the last year that Missouri beat Nebraska in Columbia. Now it is third down and goal. Power eye for the Huskers. Frost with a penalty flag walks in, but there's a penalty flag thrown by the referee behind the formation. So it could have been an illegal formation and a shift by Nebraska that time as that man threw the flag.
Uncharacteristic that Nebraska would have two men moving at the same time, and especially Amon Green and Joel Makovicka. I think Makovicka was supposed to be moving, but watch number 30. Here's Green, and here's Makovicka. Makovicka is supposed to move, but watch Green. He's not supposed to do that. That's two men moving, and you get that yellow hanky flying.
They thought they were playing for Saskatchewan or Calgary.
They beat Saskatchewan or Calgary any day. And anybody else north of the border, I think.
They're down and goal for Osborne's Huskers from the 7-yard line. They show that double wing formation that they used against Oklahoma. And they blast straight ahead with Amon Green for the touchdown. 7 yards for Amon.
Larry Smith's biggest fear is that his defense would get worn down. They haven't come close to stopping Nebraska yet.
Now here's Brown again. And he boosts Nebraska back into a 7-point advantage here. Larry Smith, 21 years a head coach. After he was dumped by USC, he sat out a year. How big a mistake was that for the Trojans? We'll be right back. Presentation of college football is brought to you by Marriott Hotels, Resorts, and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Velo from Phillips Magnavox, the power of a computer in the palm of your hand. And Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. 21-14, Nebraska in a wide-open affair here in Columbia, Missouri. 10:08 to go in the first half. Meanwhile, Michigan running roughshod over Penn State. He fielded in the end zone and on a delay, a decision, and you can pay a price for that one, and he does. Devin West hesitated, and he who does is normally lost against the coverage teams for Nebraska, amongst the best in the country. So the Show Me Tigers, the last time they had a winning season, 83. The last time they defeated Colorado, 84. They don't play Texas every year, folks, but it was 1916, and they will go to a bowl this year, regardless of what happens here today, and they've been fun to watch. Let me tell you that. 9:30 to go.
With a strong performance today, they may crack the top 25. They got Baylor next week.
So let's see how Grant Wistrom, Jason Peter, and the rest of the defenders handle this offense. They have not been able to shut it down yet. Levo on a cutback with Jason Peter hanging on at the 15-yard line. Now here's how Coach Smith told us yesterday that he wanted to come out against the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
I don't think that they'll catch us flat. I think right now we're playing good football, and it's nothing fancy. Basically all we're doing is that we're fighting and blocking and tackling, but the biggest thing is we're fighting for each other. And we get into a game tempo now, and it seems like the best comes out. And so I don't think we'll come out flat.
Well, they certainly have not, putting 2 touchdowns on the board against a team that had given up only 1 in 3 weeks. Deep drop, going to throw it again. Corby's got a man wide open, and he puts it right in the hands of number 4, Ricky Ross, for a first down for the Tigers. How about this young man, Corby Jones, Dan? What's your feeling about him now? We saw him earlier this year, and Ohio State shut him down.
You know, I asked him yesterday, what would you rather do? Would you rather run for a touchdown, or would you rather throw for one? And he broke into this big grin and said, man, I'd rather throw for one, because all I've heard for the last couple of years here in Columbia is that I can't throw. Well, he's 5 out of 7 right now for over 100 yards.
McBride cannot be happy with the space he's been giving the Missouri receivers defensively. Very unusual for the Huskers. First down and 10. Jones going to back out. He's got 2 men open this time. Incomplete. Bobbled at the 47-yard line on a great hit by Mike Brown, the rover from Scottsdale, Arizona, number 21.
This was a big play for Missouri last week against Colorado. Kent Lehman scored on this play, but watch the free safety here as the receiver comes from the right side of the field. This is your option play fake, Brent, that you like so much. It's already scored today, but watch the play by number 21. Jones throws a perfect pass. That's just perfect defense.
That was a great crossing route that time off of that pattern. I'm not sure that I've seen that run off that play before. Second down and 10. And the handoff to the fullback, who powers to the 32-yard line. That's Big James getting a call. Now there's a man who's a load to James, Dan. When he comes, that's a truck coming through, isn't it?
Well, he's 275 pounds, and here's Curtis Jones, the proud papa of Corby Jones. They had a little defensive line here at Missouri alongside a teammate of mine in San Diego, Russ Washington, who was inducted into the University of Missouri Hall of Fame last night. Congratulations to Big Russ.
Indeed. Third down and 6. Corby's back in that shotgun look. Nebraska brings a blitz at him, and Corby throws it down the middle, has to throw in a hurry. He's got a man at the 30-yard line. Ricky Ross again. Eric Johnson was the blitzing linebacker that time. There was no time. Corby arched it. It's 36 yards against Ralph Brown, the sophomore cornerback.
Kirby did this against Oklahoma State, where he just lofted the ball up in the air for Ricky Ross, and that one came down as a touchdown. Ross out-battles Brown for this ball, and lucky for Nebraska that Ross loses his footing here, or he's in the end zone. Great concentration to make the catch.
So Corby Jones driving Missouri for Larry Smith through the air. 7:13 to go. First and 10. The Tigers against number 1 now. And Jones hands off to the fullback. Blackwell checks back into the game. Down at the 27-yard line. Into the heart of that defense. Keeping them honest. You know, on that last play, there was a great blitz pickup by the running back. Dan, watch Brock Olivo on this play.
Well, here he is right here, number 27. This guy does it all for Missouri. works on special teams, and now gives his quarterback time to throw the bomb.
And Eric Johnson, the junior linebacker, could not get there. Second down and 6. Rod James back in at fullback for Missouri. This is more yards than the Cornhuskers give up in a game here in the first half. The way Corby's got it rolling. Good fake. In trouble, though. Down at the 39-yard line. Mike Rucker coming in from that other side, along with Grant Wistrom, getting the job done. And that sack will put Missouri on the other side of the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 13 after the 7-yard loss.
That's a pair of 7-yard losses now for Corby Jones. Watch how fast Nebraska players get off the ground. Wistrom does not allow himself to be held or tackled there. He gets in on the sack.
Now let's see what Corby can come up with. Nebraska shows pressure. They like to come in this situation. Right back to Corby. They're going to throw the flare to Olivo, and it's defended, but he breaks a tackle. 25, banged out of bounds at the 22-yard line by Mike Brown. Short of a first down. That's 11 yards. It leaves them 2 yards shy of the first down.
But what it does is it puts the field goal kicker in range. Nickman will now try a field goal instead of bringing out the punt team because of this effort. Breaks the tackle there, and then a big hit coming by number 21, Mike Brown, right there. But that sets up Nickman in very makeable range.
If Nebraska shows pressure, what a great spot for a fake field goal. But they've got a man standing back at the linebacking position, and Nickman's going to go ahead with the kick. And he's got it. A 39-yard field goal. Nebraska leads Missouri, but the Tigers chip away again.
His receivers. The offshoot of it was the fact that with each receiver he came up with a very special route. In the huddle, all they'll simply say is, run our route. I wonder if that big gain, that big pass, was one of those our routes.
Indeed. And here, Scott Frost in Nebraska realizes not a route in the first half. And on that delay, that was his man again, number 30, Amon Green, on the delay before Wade Perkins, the cornerback, could make the stop. But 18 yards later, and another Nebraska first down. So Amon Green has been leading the way for the Cornhuskers today. 13 carries and 111 yards.
And Nebraska showing no mercy, going with a hurry-up offense here with 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Missouri with great offensive numbers here in the first half. Great job by Corby Jones and the coaching staff and the offensive line against Nebraska. Here's Amon Green to the 47-yard line. A little bit shorthanded at that I-back spot at Nebraska. That's been one of the most famous positions in college football. Lawrence Phillips, of course. He's right down I-70. Rams with a tough one tomorrow up in Green Bay. Unfortunately, they'll go there with Orlando Pace sidelined by a knee injury. So Wayne Gandy moves over to the left spot. Fred Miller comes off the bench for the Rams, who looked awfully good and lost a toughie in Atlanta last week. 4.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Cheatham checks in at wide receiver, and Bobby Newcomb, the whiz from Albuquerque, New Mexico, number 12. If they can just put the ball in his hands, they won't this way. And Amon Green crosses the 50-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. He's going to be close to a first down.
They have just so many ways to beat you with their offense. They can run the option. Frost is having a huge first half. They can throw the ball, and you talked about Newcomb. He came out of nowhere last week against Oklahoma with a 40-yard touchdown catch.
Well, I know that's a story that you wanted to know more about. A young man who was born in Africa and moved over to New Mexico, and of course was recruited by the Cornhuskers. And looks like he's going to be a dandy. Still would like to try quarterback. I think they would. All right, first down and 10. And Frost keeps it. Big gap. First down for the Huskers. ball is whistled dead. I think you could hear the whistle before the ball came free. There was no question about that call by the officials. A 12-yard run for Scott Frost. Dan, let me ask you this, because you played so many great years in the NFL, and it's a question about Frost as a pure thrower, which is what the NFL like. What would you do with this young man? He's such a good athlete in the NFL.
Well, I think he's potentially a safety in the NFL. I like the fact that he's a tough guy, doesn't shy away from contact. People are booing because they see the jumbotron here. They think it's a fumble. But I think Frost has a future in the NFL. Not a quarterback. I think he's on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, clearly the whistle was blown, though. I suppose we had the advantage of hearing it. Intercepted. Chris is standing there, and Shad Chris with speed brings it to the 40, 45. Penalty flag down at midfield as Shad Chris may have just made the biggest play of the first half.
It has been a first half of a lot of big plays. This is the first one for the Missouri defense. You're right, Brent. Watch Chris just stand here, wait for this ball to come down. As he comes off the receiver on the outside, Matt Davison, and they're going to get the penalty against Missouri here on the return. I don't think Scott Frost ever saw Shad Chris. And it's a personal foul call.
Oh, it's going against Nebraska.
Yeah.
Tack it on, baby, and bring it to the other side of the... Jeff Marriott may have caused that interception. I think he caused Frost to have to throw off the back foot when the big sophomore nose guard broke in on him. And now with the personal foul, and Tom wants to know who it is, who lost his poise out there, because he'll be talking to the young man, and the ball is put down at the 35-yard line. And now can Corby take it in again and regain the lead? What a first half.
And I think you're right about the pressure. And I also think that Frost was looking into the sun and never saw Chris.
All right, so here we go. Hang on. The Tigers stalking that lead again. Play fake. Corby rolls right. Got all kinds of time back. Wide open to Levo. 10-yard line. Touchdown, Missouri. Mizzou leads it. 35 yards.
Done in this first half, Brent, is 8 completions for 2 touchdowns out of 11 throws, 183 yards, and you've got to kill a team after you get a big turnover. That's what Corby Jones did.
There's Nickman, perfect. Can you believe this? On Judgment Day, Missouri riding the crest of a 3-game winning streak. Behind Corby Jones, takes a 24-21 lead on the top-ranked team in the nation. You better get all those folks away from that Michigan route and come on over here and watch a ball game.
The play-action fake gave him a lot of time to throw, but I really have to wonder about the secondary of Nebraska. How many times today in this first half have we seen a Missouri receiver wide open? This time it's Brock Olivo out of the backfield. Easy touchdown for the Tigers.
And now some fire on that sideline. Moeller is over there. And another firebrand who's probably going to be a head coach someday right there. Ricky Hundley trying to get them fired up, keeping their head in the game right now. The associate head coach. Everybody's alive in Columbia. What a great job by this coaching staff and all the youngsters on this football team after that nightmare of a defeat at the hands of Kansas State. The players got together, met alone. The coaches got together. They reviewed everything, and they have not lost since. And now they lead Nebraska 24-21. This is the feel-good story of the year in college football. Folks, this is like Northwestern coming alive. This will be fielded at the 4-yard line. It's Walker again. Breaks free at the 30, and short of the 35, and he battles his way right to that 35-yard line, where it'll be Scott Frost and Jackaroot.
Well, Brent, you were talking about Mo Anke right there and Ricky Hundley. Well, Anke and Hundley have been marshaling the defensive people over behind the bench, and they've been literally trying to carry them along emotionally. That's their big concern. You know, Larry Smith is concerned about keeping the defense in the game. Well, Ricky Hundley right there would go up to each and every player and say, we're still in it, stay with it, individual effort.
One of the great performances of the year, 24-21, Missouri leading. Scott Frost keeps it and bangs to the 42-yard line. Number 7, the senior from Wood River, Nebraska. You folks back there in that state know the story. One of the great high school quarterbacks of all time in Nebraska. Went out to work with Bill Walsh. Stanford moved him to safety. They were changing coaches. Walsh under fire out there. He transferred back. It was difficult replacing Tommy Frazier last year, but he's come along this year very well. And Correll Buckhalter, number 36, the freshman, checks in at I-back. Gets the toss, short side. Oh, at the 40-yard line. Nothing doing for Buckhalter. Al Sterling, number 48, delivers the message.
And the guy Al Sterling replaced at middle linebacker was Kevin Ford. That time, the both of them teamed up and put a heck of a lick on the true freshman. Not many times will you see a Nebraska running back heading backwards.
40. So it is 3rd down and 6. Shotgun for Frost and the Cornhuskers. 4 wide receivers. Scott pulls it down. Left fire, bounces it. Incomplete. It is 3, and let's punt it.
And Missouri's going to have a lot of time when they get the ball back. They'll only have 1 timeout to work with. But I would be real concerned with Missouri coming after this punt by Jeff Cush.
So Jesse Cush with Ricky Ross back deep. Cush's daddy, former great player at Nebraska. Left foot, not a good one. Needed Nebraska bounce and didn't get it. A Missouri bounce. Missouri with time. 1:53, leading at 24-21 after the 24-yard punt. So Nebraska just a touch rattled. Not what they expected here in Columbia this afternoon. This is a team they've been dominating for a couple of decades.
But it's your mirror image that you're seeing on the other side of the ball when you look at the Missouri offense. Big, strong offensive line, very mobile quarterback in Corby Jones. But it's been the passing of Jones that's been the difference in this first half.
That is amazing. Already 24 points in 1 game today. And Corby back and ready to go at it again. Play fake. Wistrom battles free, steps away, and down he goes in a heap. His number 84 was closing in from the other side. Mike Rucker the other end. But Wistrom was battling free and forced Corby on the move.
I can't call it play. I can't call it play.
You know, Corby, I think, told him he couldn't hear the play. Dan, is that possible?
Well, I think that what he was talking about is he couldn't call the play for some reason. Couldn't change the play. Whatever the play was, it wasn't very good. Great effort by the Nebraska defensive ends.
2nd down and 18. West and Blackwell are your Missouri running backs right now. Wistrom down in that 3-point stance, tries an inside move and can't get to the running back fast enough. The 31-yard line, but it's only a gain of about 3 yards. Watching Wistrom and Peter down there, that defensive line, is like watching a defensive line clinic. Timeout is going to be called by Nebraska.
That's a good move by Tom Osborne and his team. They had 2 at that point. Now they have 1. They expect to get the ball back. And remember how poorly Missouri punts the ball.
Well, we get a check of what's coming up at halftime. So let's go to Mr. Judgment, John Saunders.
Coming up on Valvoline Halftime 97, it's Judgment Day. So far, the gavel's coming down hard on Penn State.
Well, they're getting overwhelmed right now. In every phase of the game, Michigan looks bigger, faster, stronger, really taking it to the Lions.
We'll have all the day's scores and highlights, including #1 Nebraska against Missouri. It's all coming up on Valvoline Halftime 97.
One of the most painful admissions I've ever seen my friend Todd have to make.
You know, it's a little upsetting to me that Todd goes out and predicts a Penn State win, and then he doesn't mention the fact that Oregon is absolutely demolishing Washington. The only other team to do that this year is this team in red out here.
Get on him, my friend. They're down in 14. And here is Corby Jones. That's what he has done. Look at those numbers. 8 of 11. They have thrown for 183 yards. And like Dan Fouts mentioned, folks, there have been wide receivers from the start of this game to the end. It has been a clinic as far as the receivers are concerned from Missouri. Let's see what they can do here on 3rd down. Corby's going to keep it, and not much. There's so much speed on that, and they come out with the ball, but I'm not sure they're going to give it to Nebraska that time. Even though it was Rucker crawling out with the football that time he closed in. Well, there it is, 24-0. And there you are, kid. 24-6. They just put it in for you. Huh? That's
right.
about special in Seattle.
It's early yet.
Go Ducks.
All Oregon fans, it's early yet, but hang in there.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, let's see. If Washington loses that game, that puts UCLA on target for a possible Rose Bowl and a huge game next week down in the Rose Bowl. And of course, speaking of big matchups and games, how about this one tonight? Florida State and North Carolina. A lot of folks like Carolina because they're home, a great defense. I don't know. I like Florida State. Too much experience in big games. Dan, what about you in that one?
Well, I will be watching side by side with you tonight, Brent, on that one, because we're going to see North Carolina next week against Clemson. So I think I'm going to root for North Carolina.
Hey, my friends at Budweiser will take care of the table for us tonight. They're in the neighborhood, you know. Send those draft horses on down here, folks, down to Columbia.
I appreciate that, you picking up the tab one way or the other.
Always glad to do it for you, my friend. Well, here comes the barefooted one, and that is Vince Sabo, number 17. Bare left foot. So he's the second punter, 51 seconds. And Nebraska will try to get that youngster, Bobby Newcomb, turned loose. High snap, going after it, however. So he'll just try to get it out of there, and not too good. One part of this game that's stinking out the joints, the punting.
That's just two terrible punts for Missouri. Doesn't matter if it's Jason Smith or Vince Sabo. 11-yard punt that time. Did a great job of catching the ball, but then he absolutely whiffs on the kick.
No wonder Larry's been going on 4th down this year.
Yeah, really. I mean, these guys are killing them. Look at Nebraska gets the ball at the 40-yard line now. They have 0 timeouts to work with, though, but they have a short field again.
And they've got a great kicker in Chris Brown. They're not going to need too many yards to get him a shot at the tie right now. Here's Frost, sprints to the short side. Releases and batted away. Dangerous. That was Kenny Cheatham, the intended receiver. Wade Perkins came up and made sure there was no completion on that play.
And Wade Perkins has played his way into the starting lineup today. Picked off a pass against Oklahoma State, then one against Colorado last week. The pressure here up front against Frost. Frost really should have thrown this ball out of bounds instead of trying to complete it.
All right, now we got 2nd down and 10. We got a shotgun look, and Frost is up higher to the sideline. Cheatham again, out of bounds at the 32, and 35 seconds show up on that scoreboard.
And you know, Brent, there's absolutely no wind here today, and that pass puts Brown right about at his limit. He has a 51-yard career long.
Now Missouri doesn't want to give up the home run in this situation either. Line of scrimmage is at the 32-yard line, and Newcomb is slotted on the short side of the field as Frost goes back into the shotgun. And now that late pitch out to Amon Green, who barrels inside the 25-yard line. Barry Odom hanging on, and 30 seconds with the clock stopped. Couple of timeouts remaining. Everything in good shape for Osborne's Cornhuskers, coming down for a possible tying field goal or the lead. Cheatham makes the catch at the 20-yard line. Clock continues to tick away.
That kills him. That low throw keeps Cheatham in bounds, and the clock now starts to keep running.
13 seconds, and he stops the clock at 12 seconds. So Nebraska, with Brown ready, 9 consecutive field goals he has made to tie the Nebraska record. So he could break it and boost the Cornhuskers back into a tie here.
Looking to break Dave Klein's record. Got to give those kickers some credit, though, every once in a while.
You know, Dan, let me apologize. I looked at that scoreboard over there, and it's second quarter. I said 2 timeouts, and of course the reason why they had to stop it is there's a goose egg over there with the timeouts left for Nebraska. So they do not, and that's why Scott had to spike the ball to stop the clock. He has 12 seconds. It's going to be 3rd down and 6. They're looking at a...
And you know, the 25-second clock has been running down to 4 seconds now.
Fumble! They pile him up at the 25. Now they're going to unpile it, wind the clock. There it is. They're going to wind it, and they're not going to get him on the field. No chance.
Boy, how uncharacteristic of this for Nebraska.
How could you foul that up? So Osborne and the Cornhuskers will regroup. They did not manage time well here, and Frost, not expecting the snap, was looking away to the left, and they pile him up on the fumble. And of course they had no timeouts, remember, and when you saw the referee wind the clock, there was not enough time to get the field goal team on the field. Missouri 24, Nebraska 21. John Saunders and Todd Blackledge are coming up next on ABC. A lot of football left. Let's take a look at Scott Frost. He scored twice early on for the Cornhuskers, this time over the top. But if you want to look for a turnaround, watch Chris pick off this pass. And that, Dan Fouts, in my mind, was the most important play in the first half because it led to what's coming next.
This is the play-action pass and another wide-open receiver for Missouri. Look at the difference in the statistics when you look at the passing yardage for Missouri. 183 yards passing for Corby Jones, all in the first half.
Wiggins and Walker back deep with Nickman kicking it off to start the second half. Larry Smith's biggest decision here at the intermission is to find a punter. Got to turn the quarterback loose, I would think. Let Corby Jones be your punter. That almost killed him. Here's a kickoff into the corner now. Walker picks it up at the 5, 15, runs hard, 25, 30, sprints outside to the 40, 45. Walker cuts inside. Here comes the big red machine.
And Larry Smith's got to be happy that Martez Young was his safety, number 8. Watch the wedge work here first for Joe Walker. Makovic right in the middle there with a key block on Olivo. He runs away from the kicker. Now watch number 8, Martez Young. And he saves the day temporarily for Missouri.
Scott Frost quickly brings the Nebraska offense up, trailing it by a field goal. Amon Green, no more than a yard. Jack Arute.
Brent, that return was the kick that Nebraska needed. When they went into the locker room, they had the look of deers when they see a headlight. To add insult to injury, their assistant coaches that are way up in the press box, they were late getting down to the locker room. Not only that, they went to the wrong gate. It was locked. They were about 5 minutes late getting to the locker room. Meanwhile, Larry Smith, he said one thing to his team: losing is not an option.
So here we go, 2nd down and 9. Delay with Green. Green crosses the 40-yard line, but that's going to put Nebraska here, Dan Fouts, in 3rd down as we take a look at your first half statistics here.
Well, it's been a game of rushing for Nebraska and passing for Missouri, but there's that big turnover led directly to the 7 points that put Missouri on top.
Brings the option, keeps it for the 1st down to the 29-yard line. Scott Frost And Corby Jones in a great duel here in Columbia, Missouri. You can see how they compare right now, rushing and passing. One the runner, the other the thrower today, and who knew that Corby Jones could develop into that kind of a thrower. Remember now, Nebraska recruited Corby very hard, but his father, of course, being an assistant coach here, and Missouri had a bit of the edge, but he was a very highly rated high school quarterback. Sheldon Jackson switches over to the left side as the tight end. They run to the short side, and Frost keeps it again. Frost bangs to the 25-yard line with that aggressive running style of his. And he grabbed my face mask. Let me have a yellow flag.
Yeah. Frost was being tackled there towards the end, but he keeps driving and pulling. Watch as the contact is made about 2 yards down the field, but his leg drive. And there's not exactly a face mask grab. That's a forehand across the face mask.
Justin White. Now the pitch to Amon Green, and he breaks free with a second effort short of the first down to the 21-yard line. Nebraska's possessions in the first half. They trailed it right away. Then they had to respond. Then they took the lead. They scored 3 touchdowns in a row, but the interception when they were going back in, or what would have given them a big advantage in this game. And that set up the Missouri touchdown, 24-21. Nebraska boxed up the clock at the end of the first half, failed to get off a field goal, which would have tied the game if good. And Tom Osborne, a little bit concerned on that far side. He's not thinking about who's number 1 right now. He's thinking about getting out of Columbia, Missouri, 24-21. And it's Matt Bavicka banging for the first down. Straight ahead. It's very interesting when you put a great team and a great coach like Osborne in Nebraska under fire. I always find it interesting how conservative the approach becomes. It's not wide open, nothing fancy here. Doing what they do best. Use that fullback power. Toss it to Amon Green. Let the quarterback keep it on the option and try to bring it on down the field.
Those are 3 pretty good choices, Brent. Go back to why you're the #1 offense in college football. That's because you run the ball well.
Inside of the 20-yard line here. There is the play selection these two have shown. Frost, late pitch, fumble, loose ball, battle on the sideline. Missouri says, we've got it. Missouri recovers the fumble. The second Nebraska turnover, and another one with the Cornhuskers going in for a score. How big is that as Steve Erickson walks away with the football?
And it was a late pitch, as you said, Brent, from Frost to Amon Green. And he just took his eyes off it. This is a great bounce for Missouri as Erickson just gets it before his helmet touches the out-of-bounds marker.
Great hustle here by the young man from Texas.
Pitch was a little bit high, but it was right in the face of Amon Green. He should have made that catch.
So it's Corby Jones bringing the offense out. Split pass. Levo, the running back, and Octavius McFarland makes the play defensively for Nebraska. Well, Missouri leading it 24-21. Olivo scoring the go-ahead touchdown on a pass, and there will tell you the tale. The first halftime lead over Nebraska since '88. And they are 15-2 under Coach Smith when leading at halftime. I spoke to a couple of state troopers from Missouri down below. I said, fellas, if this holds up, you guys are going to be working overtime tonight. They said, no doubt about that. Second down and 10 now. Corby Jones. And offset. Blackwell there. They bring the option. Late pitch. Got it into Olivo's hands. Dangerous but successful to the 17 and short of the first down. Warfield making the stop.
Boy, Olivo makes the catch that Amon Green couldn't make on the option. This is why this pitch is high. Watch the pressure right here in his face. Looked like it was Chad Kelsey. Could have been Tony Ortiz. Just saw a 7 there, either 57 or 37. But one of the adjustments the secondary Nebraska will make now is they will play their safeties in more of a zone defense.
With the way Missouri's been punting, this play is bigger than you can ever imagine. Coming out short of the 20-yard line on third down, they need 6 yards just to keep it alive and not have to punt. Fire, got it, first down, huge, to the 30-yard line, Kent Lehman.
Most of Corby's success today has been on rollouts or play action. That was just a plain old-fashioned drop back pass.
Personal foul. Nebraska, 15 yards.
Second one. Second one against the Cornhuskers here today.
Is it possible they've lost their composure? Look at the pass protection for Corby Jones. Absolutely perfect. The timing was exquisite because Lehman hadn't even turned around when that ball was...
It's that takedown right there, I believe,
released by the
Sweeney, the freshman, you see it was whistled down, and he continued to throw the man to the ground, and that cost Irwin that time. So it's a learning process for him. First down and 10. Ball is out at the Missouri 45-yard line. They line it up at an eye now. Corby Jones waits. They may have drawn him offside. There's a penalty flag thrown by the linesman. Let's see if they drew them off or if the offense moved down in that line. You could see 2 of the white jerseys in Nebraska jump across that time. And it is against the Cornhuskers. Jackaroo.
Well, Brett, maybe one of the reasons that offside occurred is because Nebraska trying to get a little bit of an edge. You know, they have not played on natural grass since the Orange Bowl last year. This is not the best of turf. It's coming up in clumps. The center section between the hash marks been very soggy, a lot of rain. In fact, as you see, it's coming up in the clumps. A helicopter was brought in to try and dry it off. They are a much different team, Nebraska, on natural grass.
I saw a guy who looked like Larry Smith with a water hose out all week out here at Columbia. I don't know what that means, but here's a handoff now, and Blackwell slams across that 45-yard line for a first down for Missouri. He's a big-time college fullback. He's 6'3", 235 pounds. He's a senior, and Janes will replace him as they continue now to shuttle the fullbacks in and out. I cannot say enough, Dan Fouts, about the coaching job that has gone on here at Columbia, even for this ball game. They had Nebraska very well scouted.
Very, very confident football team right now.
Corby Jones with the ball at the Cornhuskers 43-yard line. Olivo, the workhorse. And let us go to our workhorse. Let's check in with John Saunders. John?
Brent, you have a surprise where you are. There's a surprise in Happy Valley as well, just because of how big a lead this is. Chris Howard, 29 yards for the touchdown. And they've opened a 31-0 lead, has Michigan at Penn State. Meantime, Tennessee and Southern Miss, this one all locked up at 13 apiece. Brent.
Yeah, John, and I'm starting to agree with Todd. I think I might have to vote for Michigan. That's a very impressive win on the road in Happy Valley today. A lot of football still to go here. I love this Cornhusker team, but they are under fire right now, Dan Fouts, from Missouri. This is something we did not expect here today.
No, but there are a lot of Cornhusker fans out there saying, hey, wait a minute about this grass stuff. Didn't we win 2 national titles on grass?
Down in Miami and at the Fiesta Bowl. And Phoenix, indeed they did, beating Miami first, and then Florida. But now the question is, are they going to get back to the Orange Bowl and play for the 3rd one down there? 3rd down and 4. Corby starts Lehman. Fakes the handoff and now keeps it, going to sprint. Incomplete. And for just a moment, Eddie Brooks was wide open, and he didn't hit him.
Earlier in the year, Corby Jones was completing about 40% of his passes. And these people here that are wearing the black and the gold are disappointed now when he doesn't complete a pass. Did you hear the groan that time when that ball fell incomplete? What a turnaround for Corby Jones.
Well, Corby Jones stays out there. Coach Smith did not even move toward the 2 punters. It's 4th down. They need 4 yards to go. And they're going to show shotgun. Now, remember, he can punt out of this, folks. And he's backing up like he looks like he's going to pooch it on him. Nobody's back. Can he drop it down? Yes, he is. Off the side of his foot now. High. Inside the 10. Missouri's going to down it. Inside the 5-yard line. How about that? Nebraska buried on the one as Coach Smith finally turns it over to Corby Jones. I've been waiting for that play all day.
You talk about great coaching. That was a great example of what Larry Smith means to this football team.
Smiles all around on the pooch punt by the quarterback. 4 of 5 career punts down inside the 10. Back in a moment. Dan, what went wrong on this?
Well, as Corby Jones drops back here, Mike Brown should have gone back deep. Obviously, Jones is going to punt this ball. They've had all kinds of problems with the other two guys. This goes 35 yards down to the 1.
Scott Frost and the Cornhuskers coming out for the 1. McNamara for a yard and no more. And the Tigers jump on him. And you can just feel the emotion on that Tiger sideline and in watching their defensive players in particular. Ford and Sterling, 2 of Mo Anke's linebackers, jumping McNamara at the point of attack. Second down for Osborne now.
Well, and you can see the confidence. Missouri comes into this game hoping to win. They have changed from hoping to expecting to win. Look at this crew.
Frost gets ready. Play fake him on. They're going to throw it to the end zone. Fires. Call. Juggle. Newcomb reached back in on the ball and grabbed it. There's the freshman from Albuquerque. He bails Nebraska out. 34 yards on the play to Bobby Newcomb, who was juggling and somehow reached back and grabbed it.
And Brent, I know where Bobby Newcomb has come from. Here he is right here. It's a single receiver route here this time. Great pass protection after the play fake. And the concentration after he juggled it 3 or 4 times. What a play.
That is amazing, Dan, on that juggle for a freshman to be hanging on. And now the fullback out to the 41-yard line. Watch the hands of Newcomb. Now, again, for those of you who don't know, this is the quarterback of the future, maybe. But he does so many things. How can they keep him off the field? What a great picture that was.
Yeah.
Our director, Drew Esikoff, our producer, Jimmy Ressler. Great camera work again here in Columbia, 24-21. Missouri with the lead, Nebraska with the circus catch. And now, second down. The option look again. Frost is going to be well short.
And they're taking pot shots now at Scott Frost every time he's got the ball. Look at the cut on the arm, a couple of bruises there. And this is why a lot of black helmets are hitting number 7 now. Big difference in this play that we saw in the first half is there's a lot of Tigers still on their feet.
Here's third down at 1. Makovic gets down in front of Ahman Green. Frost is your quarterback. Here's the toss to Green. They're going to try to run wide for it, and he has to dive back in. He gave the Missouri defense a little time to come after him with that deep play on 3rd and 1, but they made it in the end and kept this series alive.
He's really got great power and explosion, and he seems to really thrive on situations where he needs just a couple of yards, because he really gets low and just sells out completely to pick up the first down.
1st and 10, Nebraska.
About 151 yards for Ahman Green.
Inside 5 minutes, 3rd quarter here in Columbia. Makovic slams to the 48-yard line, and Marriott, the nose man, 93 is there. Well, let's take a look at our lineup next Saturday now. It will be Michigan-Wisconsin in the Big Ten, going into Badgerland. North Carolina, Clemson, Washington, UCLA, Colorado, Kansas State. That's a pretty good lineup right there.
How many of those 4, 5, 6, all those numbers on the left side, how are those going to change?
Tell Keith Jackson we've improved the schedule. Getting better, Keith. 2nd down and 8 now. Frost on a fake. Going to throw back. Screen over here on this side to Ahman Green on a cutback. And Green breaks free. 30, 25. Angle and out of bounds. And that is Harold Piercy who saved the touchdown.
It's a throwback screen to Ahman Green. Frost is going to come out here. Green is going to go this way. And this is perfectly executed by Nebraska. Missouri absolutely loses Green, and he's got a convoy out front. And Piercy saves the day.
First down at the 13-yard line. With 4:05 to go in the 3rd. With Jack Root and foul time for Musburger. Nebraska trailing, but Makovic, their fullback, their walk-on fullback, pounding down close to the 10-yard line on a 1st down.
Makovic looks like he's wishing for the good old days of 7 days ago.
Where is that Oklahoma defense when we need it, huh, partner?
He's getting touched a bit today.
3.5 minutes left here in the 3rd. Now Scott Frost keeps it again, cuts back inside the 5-yard line, twists for the end zone, reaching out for the goal line, battling for the loose ball, and let's see where the officials say it is down.
I never heard a whistle blow, Brent.
No, I didn't either. Scott Frost probably would have been a lot wiser. He had a 1st down, not to be reaching out like that for the end zone, but I think they may whistle that it's down anyway. Yeah, he was down by rule. So it will be 1st and goal for the Huskers.
You know, Brent, this is at the end of this play. Frost is down, clearly down. The ball came out when it hit the ground. All Nebraska's done is gone 98 yards now.
Frost has scored twice already today, and he bucks it right in. And Scott Frost puts it in for the 3rd time today. Nebraska regains the lead. 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. A struggle for Tom Osborne's Cornhuskers, top-ranked and favored by 4 touchdowns here in Columbia, Missouri.
A 99-yard drive for the Cornhuskers. The big play, Newcomb's juggling catch on 2nd down. And then the Ahman Green screen pass.
There's the extra point added by Chris Brown. So the freshman sensation for the Cornhuskers, Bobby Newcomb, 6 foot, 185 pounds, a freshman sensation, bails him out on this play. Watch the juggle, the concentration, and the Huskers are finally on their way for 99 yards. But it's a struggle all the way against Mizzou. We'll be right back.
And then run around there like that. This is just pure athletic ability. The Cornhuskers come with a great pass rush here, but again, they fail to cover a receiver from Missouri.
Ernest Blackwell is the fullback directly behind Corby Jones with speed. They bring the option, and Corby keeps it. Corby inside the 20, and he is down at the 17-yard line on first down. Jay Foreman, the son of the former Minnesota Viking great Chuck Foreman, number 44, the middle linebacker for the Huskers, makes the stop.
And the one thing that the Cornhuskers have done very well is shut down the run since the first quarter. And maybe it's because they're getting good play from the other side of the defensive line. That's Jason Peter and Grant Wistrom there that time, but it looks like Missouri's trying to run away from them. They've not had any success running the ball since the first drive of the first quarter.
Here's second down at 7 for Corby. Slot is off to the wide side of the field for Mizzou. A play fake, and Corby rolls in that direction. He's going to throw the flare pass to Blackwell. Blackwell battling inside the 10-yard line. First down, Mizzou. A team named Desire. Under Larry Smith, it took him 4 years and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Larry Smith can't believe what he's seeing out here. He knows he has big, strong running backs. None any stronger than Blackwell as he picks up a first down.
Nebraska leading Missouri 28-24. They've been trading the lead, and Missouri drives down for a first and goal at the 10. And the fullback Blackwell to the 6-yard line into the heart of the Nebraska defense with Dan Fouts and Jack Arute. I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along with us. It figures to be a wonderful fourth quarter. Just a great setting here in Columbia, Missouri. A program that has come back with 3 straight wins. They're at the line right now. Second down and goal. Corby on the option, the keeper to the 6-yard line and hit hard. You can see Foreman is there. Rucker, who has played a whale of a game at that other defensive end spot for Nebraska, coming in from the backside with a minute to go here in the third quarter for Larry Smith, who will have a big decision to make. Third down. Devin West, the running back. Corby's going to go back. Deep drop, try to throw back, not there. Going to sprint now. Outrun Rucker. Dives for the end zone. Goes airborne. Corby Jones, touchdown over the top. If I didn't know better, I would say that was a tear in Larry Smith's eye. This is the stuff of fairy tales. You're a 29-point underdog, and you're back ahead again, and you're trading shots with the #1 team in the country. You're going blow for blow. And Corby Jones is showing most of the country right now why he is one of the finest all-around quarterbacks in the country today. Watch Corby Jones create something when nothing is there. And remember, this Nebraska defense had given up only 1 touchdown in 3 weeks prior to coming to Mizzou. Timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. And Circuit City, answers in every department. Low prices all over the store. 43 seconds left in the third quarter. And Missouri leading again, 31-28 over the top-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nickman, he's been dropping it to Walker all game long, and he does again. He'll try to defend from the 9. Left side return, Walker looks for the alley, out to the 30-yard line and down.
Let's take a look at the touchdown play. Here's Jake Stubbe. Corby expects him to run over here, but Stubbe goes to this side. Watch the quarterback come out after the play fake, and he's looking all the way to the left side. That, when you're a great athlete and great desire, that's all it takes sometimes.
Scott Frost. Amon Green is his lone running back. Double tight end power formation for the Huskers. Straight ahead is Amon to the 34-yard line. Picks up 4 yards before Donnell Jones, the nose guard, brings him in. Jackaroo, I can't say enough about Corby Jones. This is one of the most impressive quarterbacking jobs I've seen in a long time.
And Brent, what a change from the game we did at Ohio State. Remember, Corby played with a lot of emotion, but after that Andy Katzenmoyer hit, he was literally emotionally out of the game. All this game, he's very controlled in terms of emotion. The worst that's happened to him, last series he got a bloody nose. He walked off and said, fix it.
End of 3. Listen to the crowd in Columbia. Tom Osborne and number 1 under fire. ABC Sports presentation of Nebraska, Missouri returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. Nebraska's last loss in Columbia, Missouri back in 1973. For Tom Osborne, as he looks across the sideline, there's only one player on the other side who was even alive when Missouri last won here. 2nd down and 6. I formation. Frost brings the option and now keeps it twisting to the 39-yard line. Donnell Jones hanging on. Larry Smith and Mizzou hopes to hang on and add to it. What a game they have played here today. And Coach Smith will become the 4th coach in NCAA history to take 4 different schools to a bowl. Tulane, Arizona, USC, and now Mizzou. Earl Bruce, Bill Mallory, and Lou Holtz are the other 3. A great honor for that man right there.
And the bowl against Missouri is darn lucky because this is the hottest team in the country.
3rd down and very short for the 1st down. Frost keeps it, and let us send you to John Saunders for an update. John?
Brent, time for the Burger King play of the day. Brian Gracie, a terrific day at quarterback for Michigan. Charles Woodson, defensive back, wide receiver. This time for the touchdown wide open as Woodson is making a charge on the Heisman race, especially with Peyton Manning struggling today. 34-0. Brent.
All right, John, thank you very much. And here the top-ranked team trails Mizzou 31-28. And Frost on the keeper. Battles again for 4 more yards. He is so hard to stop and bring down with that first hit. Barry Odom, inside linebacker, was there on number 7.
You know, Brent, we talked about, we speculated about Frost's future. You know, maybe he should put on 20 pounds and play fullback in the NFL. I mean, that's not a quarterback running over linebackers and defensive linemen. That's a fullback.
2nd down and 6 for Frost. Here's the toss to Amon Green. They spread him out, and now he barges for the 1st down and crosses midfield. And Nebraska can play with a short field. Odom again. Nebraska's been hurt by a couple of turnovers here today. An interception and a fumble. On both occasions, they could have been driving for a touchdown. You don't know what's going to happen, obviously, after a turnover. But there were 2 big keys in this game. One in the 1st half and one in the 2nd. Now again, Frost and the Huskers on the drive. Missouri trying to hold up in the middle of that defensive line. They're going to pound away with Green. And Green is stuck by Easter, the strong safety from Houston, Texas, number 1. This has been a wonderful, wonderful college football game, and you can see how Frost and Jones have traded moments in this game.
Yeah, it's been the throwing of Corby Jones and the running of Scott Frost. Frost is over 100 yards rushing, but Jones can run too a little bit, huh? That 6-yard touchdown.
2nd and 6. Frost is eyed the field. Missouri presses the box, expecting the option. They got it, and Frost cuts for the 1st down. Still so hard to bring down with that 2nd effort. Well, a reminder now of what's ahead on prime time. C16 Total Security in the practice. That's our lineup tonight, starting at 8 Eastern time. Now tomorrow night, Wonderful World of Disney doing a marvelous job. Glad to see so many folks enjoying that. Angels in the End Zone. And then I'm going to tell you, folks, Into Thin Air, the story of Evers. That's one of the great books that I've read in a long time. I hope that movie is nearly as good. And Frost throws and overthrows. Incomplete.
Vick is complaining he was held. He snuck right down the middle of the Missouri defense and was behind the deepest defender. But his pleas to the judge on Judgment Day fall on deaf ears.
Clock can't move fast enough for Smith. Second down and 10. Here's the delay, and Amon Green is stood up at the 30-yard line. On second down, they hope to catch him unawares and pop one with Green, and now Mo Anke, the defensive coordinator, must come up with the call here, because here it is 3rd and 8. Sterling's the linebacker who made the play in the hole, and here we come for Nebraska. I would expect number 12, Bobby Newcomb, to be coming on the field, and here he comes.
Nebraska comes out with 4 wide receivers, but don't be surprised if Frost runs with this one.
Here's 3rd down. Newcomb to the short sides, the slot man, and Frost keeps it. You called it, and Missouri expected it. That was Marquise Gibson, the undersized defensive end, the junior from Florida, making the play, and none bigger defensively for Mizzou in this game.
Very conservative play selection for Tom Osborne. But what he knows is in his bag of tricks, he's got a great kicker. This option doesn't fool anybody in black shirts. Right? Trying to run the option to the short side of the field. Marquise Gibson with a big play.
Now for the record, Chris Brown, can he keep the consecutive string alive? 44 yards on the field goal. Great leg. The Nebraska record for consecutive field goals. 10 straight field goals for Chris Brown. So with 10:50 to go, Missouri and Nebraska are tied at 31. We'll be right back. Favored by more than 4 touchdowns. Nebraska tied with Missouri right now at 31 after a field goal by Chris Brown. His 10th in a row. Now he'll kick it off. And Missouri will bring it up on the 20-yard line. Well, we had a chance to ask Corby Jones what turned it around for this Missouri program this year, and here's what he had to say.
Everybody just started making plays. I think one game I came in and talked to the wideouts, sat down with, at that point, my 2 starting wideouts were Jay Murchison and Torrey Coleman, and I said, make the tough one today. I said, make the big one. Maybe I'm not going to throw everyone right there, and if I throw one that's good and you drop it, all right, just make up for it by making a big one later.
Looking for a big one now, tied at 31. Olivo back in at running back. James is the fullback. Ricky Ross, one of the wideouts. Corby Jones takes it back, going to get hit as he releases into the middle. Double team, Lehman, incomplete. A collision at the 30-yard line, but hit on the release.
Great job by Nebraska secondary. Eric Warfield came over from the weak safety position, but Chad Kelsey really gets good pressure on the quarterback this time. Corby shouldn't have thrown this one. This is into double coverage. Sweeney has him covered by himself, and Sweeney should have made the interception, but I think Warfield distracted him.
2nd and 10. Sweeney, a freshman, number 16. Locks up one-on-one. Corby runs the option to the corner. He's going to keep it. It's wide open. 35, 40, 45. Crosses midfield and out of bounds. So the pitch man was taken by the outside rush man. As soon as the outside rush man went upfield, Corby Jones seized the corner and ran 34 yards. Great recognition by number 7.
Now, anytime you run the option play, you're going to have to get some great blocks. And anytime you bust a big one like that one, Kent Lehman, number 84, is going to get the key block when we get to show you in a moment.
10-15. First down and 10. The 46-yard line. Olivo, and back to that big play by Jones.
Well, Lehman is number 84. He's to the left side of the screen. They take the pitch man away, and then Warfield gets pinned inside by Lehman. And then watch at the end of this play. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Corby Jones is good and lucky today. He fumbled that ball, but the ball bounced right back onto his chest.
No time to be satisfied. They're back to 2nd and 5. Ball is just shy of the Cornhuskers' 40-yard line. 9.5 minutes to go in regulation. And a timeout going to be called by Corby as he checked the defense across the front. Wants to come over and make absolutely certain with his coaches. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back. Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Jeep, makers of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and Wrangler. The Home Depot, America's home improvement coach. Visa, it is everywhere you want to be. And State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. 9:27 to go in regulation. It is 2nd and 5 coming up for Missouri. We cannot say enough about the performance of the offensive line. Travis Beeble, Mike Morris, and Bob Reedy blocking against Peter and Wistrom. Peter with 4 tackles today, and Wistrom with 2. They've done an awesome job in that line. 2nd down. They face still another challenge now. And Corby Jones going to change it up, and the backs are now split. Now he comes back. He wanted to make sure he heard the call. Runs the option. Jones looking for the angle, and he is cut off and going down in a pile. 3rd down and long coming up for Missouri. Jackaroo.
Brent, this is the 10th consecutive game that the Missouri Tigers have played. They had no bye week. They started, and they're going straight through with the Baylor game next week. Now, because of the athleticism of Nebraska, the coaching staff decided that what they needed to do this week was cut back on their practice. How did they do it? You know the 5 or 10-minute drills that you go through? Well, they just shaved a minute off here, a minute off there. They said, we want these guys to be ready and fresh in the 4th quarter.
3rd and 6 right now, tied at 31. Slot to the right. Jones is in trouble, steps away from it brilliantly. Sprints now to the right with the speed. 40, and in the 35, first down, Missouri. As Corby Jones creates on his own another big play for Mizzou.
Unbelievable play from Corby Jones. The pressure from Chad Kelsey, number 57 here. How many times have we seen this today? Where a Nebraska defensive lineman can't bring down Corby Jones. And now watch him run away from Eric Warfield. Rather, Eric Johnson that time and pick up the first down. Showing the strength to pull away from defensive linemen and the speed to run away from linebackers and defensive backs.
First down and 10 with the ball at the Huskers 35. Lehman comes in motion back to the line. Play fake. Kelsey is picked up, but no, in the middle. Down at the 46-yard line, Grant Wistrom. Out of the state of Missouri, one of the first recruits, and Larry Smith lost him. A very fine young man as a senior, and finally he steps up and makes a huge play.
Ron James misses the block on Wistrom, and he's going to make sure the quarterback goes down. Grabs him with his left hand and clubs him with his right hand.
When you take an artificial turf team and move them to grass, frequently the players who have the most difficulty are the defensive players because they're used to running right to a spot and having it right there and coming hard off the edge like Lawrence Taylor used to do for the Giants. Here on the delay now is Olivo, and he bangs back to the 40-yard line. Joe Walker, backup rover back, making the stop with 7:30 to go.
That 10-yard sack by Wistrom, though, really seemed to take a lot of the life out of this crowd and really has them wondering what type of magic Corby Jones can come up with now.
Well, he'll need magic for 15 yards here, Dan. They've got to reach the 25-yard line for the first down to keep this drive going. The short side receiver is going to be Ross. Lehman goes up to the left-hand side. They'll show the shotgun or passing look for Corby. The ends crash, picked up, sideline deflected, and picked off Intercepted on the sideline by Nebraska. At the 22-yard line, Joe Walker intercepts for the Huskers.
This ball is going to be deflected halfway to the receiver by number 84, Mike Rucker. Rucker leaps up, knocks the ball. That ball might have been completed, and Walker makes a great catch. We've seen Rucker make plays in the backfield. That time he dropped from his defensive end position in his coverage and made the play.
Scott Frost and Nebraska, 78 yards away. The #1 team in the country is 7.5 minutes and tied at 31 in regulation in Columbia, Missouri. Frost cuts back off the option. Marquise Gibson among those hitting him at the 22-yard line.
Scott Frost gets up and says, where did that guy come from? Weak side, Marquise Gibson put the pressure on Frost when he was turning back. Check out right here, that play by Mike Rucker forces the ball wide of the receiver, right into the hands of Joe Walker.
2nd and 9, and Bobby Newcomb, their sensational freshman, has come down to the short side of the field. He'll be the flanker. They move the tight end over to show power that side. Frost is going to throw back to the right now. Comes back to the middle, deflected, intercepted. Missouri's got it at the 35-yard line. Got a chance, and it's picked off by Piercy. Harold Piercy, the safety, who's been a whiz all day, gives Mizzou a shot at the 30-yard line.
Here's Harold Piercy right here. This ball is thrown by Frost. He's off balance when he lets it go. The pressure right there kind of threw it off his back foot. Caldrenoff Easter came over, knocked the ball in the air from number 1 to number 2, and Missouri is back in business.
Ernest Blackwell is the fullback. He's in front of Brock Olivo. 30 yards away from taking the lead on Nebraska in the 4th quarter. Blackwell plows to the 26-yard line. Perhaps 4, and Jason Peter, 55, out of Locust, New Jersey, hanging on.
Really important now for Missouri to take care of the football. They're already in field goal range, and a field goal would give them the lead, obviously. They want to take time off the clock, keep the ball on the ground, let that big offensive line work as they've been working all day long.
And they send in offensive tackle Chris Meredith, wearing number 99, into lineup. They give him Bolt right. Ron James also in. It's the jumbo. And Olivo following the jumbo side to the 23-yard line. 5:46 left here in regulation.
Yeah, Chris Meredith has been their backup offensive tackle. Their utility lineman can play the left side or the right side. But recently, during this winning streak of Missouri, they've had big number 99 playing a lot of tight end. He's a great blocker, and he adds a lot of beef to that offensive line.
Bringing the play clock on down. Seconds ticking away. Trying to score and not give Nebraska too much time. This is Olivo again with that great effort. Battles his way for a first down close to the 15-yard line. Brock Olivo, who a week ago took a video camera with him because he said he wanted to record the great story that was going on with this football team. They went in and torched Colorado, their 3rd straight victory. He's a great overachiever. He doesn't have great bursts of speed. He just somehow gets it done.
And he got it done behind big number 99, Chris Meredith, who just crushed the defensive end on that side.
Olivo ready at the tailback spot. Perfect so far. On a fake, Corby Jones rolls hard to right. Got him in wide open, a touchdown! Missouri leads it! 4:39. Eddie Brooks all alone in the end zone. extra point. 38-31, 4.5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been here before. His name wasn't Corby Jones, it was Doug Flutie. And they shot it out one day down in Miami in a game that will live forever. Right now, Corby Jones is trying to write another chapter that will live forever. We'll be right back. Judgment Day, and #1 up for grabs. The Cornhuskers came in here ranked #1, but now their ranking is in serious jeopardy. Missouri with the lead and 4.5 minutes to go. This team from Columbia, Missouri, they are the Cinderellas of this season. They have won 3 in a row, and now Chevin Wiggins will try to give Nebraska field position.
Those 3 wins in a row, Brent, were all upsets. I think they're ready for another one.
But Nebraska has pulled out miracles before against Missouri. Walker's been very busy. He also made an interception a short time ago, and then they gave it right back. Coming down the sideline, and he is out of bounds. Let's take you back to 1975. Nebraska was leading Missouri 10-7. Watch this play. Watch the up back on the punt, folks. Keep an eye on him. He fakes snapping it. It's not a reverse. He keeps it. The Bummerooski and Tony Davis sprints in, and Nebraska wins it 30-7. Now they're going to need another miracle. 4:30 to go from the I formation. Here's the toss to Amon Green. And Green is stacked up at the 29-yard line.
Let's go and back and find out how this man gets so wide open. After the play fake, Corby Jones is going to roll out, and it's a pick play at the bottom of the screen. Eric Warfield is picked off by the wide receiver. The officials miss it, but Corby Jones doesn't miss it.
2nd down and 9 for Frost and Nebraska. Frost inside, fumble! Incomplete pass. Yep. Incomplete pass on that shuffle forward. The referee and Dan Fouts right on top of it.
Well, you know, I know the difference between an interception, an incompletion, and a fumble. And this looks like the option play, but it's inverted. It's a shuffle pass, and if the guy doesn't catch it, as Amon Green takes his eyes off it, it's just an incomplete pass. Sure got these folks excited, though, didn't it?
3rd down and 9. Victory number 251 has not been easy. May take a while for Coach Osborne. Frost, option, now to pitch. Here's Amon, and Amon is down hard at the 35. And with 3:40 to go, it is 4th down for Osborne and the Cornhuskers. Would they dare do something again?
Well, the punt team. It's a good thing we just showed that Bummerooski. They had better field position that time. This is great team defense by Missouri. A lot of black shirts running to the ball, and right in the middle is their defensive coach, Ricky Hundley.
Jesse Cush. Sometimes the fullback, Makovica, and he's in as the upback. Makovica is the upback for Nebraska. Tom and the coaches say the defense can get it back for him. Ross Fields at the 19, and he'll be down at the 22. So when you come back, we'll have 3:30 to play. Missouri leading Nebraska 38-31. And Penn and Teller is a separate, as we can see there in the background. What we've got coming up your way now, Davis Love at the Lincoln Mercury Kapalua International. They're at the line of scrimmage on 1st down. Corby Jones. So reminder that on Monday night, Penn and Teller's home invasion magic is coming up. And then it is Monday Night Football, the 49ers and the Eagles. 2nd down and 8 here with Missouri trying to close out one of the wonderful stories of the year in college football. Ernest Blackwell and Devin West are the running backs. picks his way. Just short of the first down. Eric Johnson making the stop for Nebraska.
And Brent, you won't believe this, but the sprinklers at the right end of this football field have just turned on. This is unbelievable. This is the Missouri end zone where they're driving, and there's 7 or 8 sprinklers that are rolling.
Well, they've had 5 downs here in the past.
May be their way of keeping the fans from tearing down the goalposts. A little premature, though, I think.
I told you that Coach Smith wanted a slow field here, Dan.
He's got a slow end zone, that's for sure. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. I know. Welcome to college football, right?
2:43 on the clock. The sprinklers already celebrating, and now they've quieted down on a penalty flag. Comes flying.
They call illegal substitution against Missouri for having 12 men in the huddle. Larry Smith doesn't like it at all, but you'd think that they would.
Call. That is a huge call. That is 3rd down and short, and now it becomes 3rd and 6. You can't blame the coach in this situation, but the official was right there looking at it. Oh, what a difference. And Amon Green just hoping that he gets one more chance.
Well, you're right, Brent. 3rd and inches, and Missouri's been able to convert that situation all afternoon.
James in at fullback. Devin West is the tailback. Corby on the option, keeps it, cuts free for that first down. Got it. Corby Jones to the 40-yard line. First down, 2 minutes to go. A 14-yard run for the Wizards.
He's already passed for a career high, and now he's calling upon his running ability to win this ball game. Turns it up inside, keeps his balance there, and it just overpowers the Cornhuskers.
First down, Mizzou. Blackwell, the fullback. Corby changes and brings that play clock down. Doesn't want to lose 5 yards. Gets it off at 1. Here's Blackwell. Straight into the heart of that Nebraska defense. And Jason Peter, number 55, brings him down, and a timeout's going to be called by Nebraska.
And that's their first of the second half, so they'll have 2 remaining if they get the ball back. Right now, they haven't shown any ability of stopping number 7.
Yeah, we'll take a break and come right back. Win over Nebraska, and the last win by Mizzou here was 1973. Second down and 9 for Corby Jones and Missouri. Here's West picking his way to the 47-yard line, short of the first down. Leave him about 3rd and 3. Wiltz making the stop for the black shirts. So the pressure is on Coach McBride and the defense right now to make a play and give the offense and the quarterback, Scott Frost, a chance to do some magic here with only 1:20 to go. Time is running out. These first downs, I cannot stress how important they are. The punting game had been atrocious in the first half for Missouri. Corby Jones with a beautiful pooch punt in this half for Missouri. And now the first downs are taking the kicking team off the hook, and Osborne wants to bring the defense over as 3rd and 3 is coming up for Corby Jones and Missouri.
The one thing Osborne and Charlie McBride should be talking to their defense about is, hey, number 7. He's the quarterback. His name is Corby Jones. He's got about 300 yards in total offense today. Let's think about trying to stop this guy. And it's not going to be just one guy that can stop him. Jones has shown the ability to run away from people, to pull through tackles, and watch for him on some type of option play on this 3rd down.
So clearly now the voters will throw #1 up in the air regardless of what happens. Michigan has made a big statement in Happy Valley today, and still to come tonight, Florida State and North Carolina in Chapel Hill. It was indeed Judgment Day. Now 3rd down, Judgment Day for the Nebraska defense. They must make a stop here. Corby brings the count down, brings the clock inside of 5, going to bring it down to 1 and snap it, just like an NFL veteran. Brings it on the option, going to be short of that 1st down. There was a timeout left for Nebraska, and they use it right now with 1:13 to go, and Coach Smith must decide which of the punters will he use.
I know which one I would use. I would use this kid right here. Put him back in normal punt formation and let him kick it. You know he's going to make the play.
We'll come back for about half a minute just to check in on some programming coming your way Sunday on ABC, and we'll be right back. Missouri, most points this year against the Nebraska defense, and a chance now, just 113 away from the big upset. Tom Osborne and the Huskers reeling right now, facing a 4th down, and Jason Smith gets the quick snap and booms one. There's their best, longest punt of the year. Fielded by Newcomb. Here he comes. 30 and hit at the 33-yard line. So they do not let him break the big play that time. And Scott Frost and Nebraska will have a minute 2 to work with.
No timeouts for Scott Frost.
Quickly in the huddle at the 33-yard line. Frost rolls hard to the right, uses the sideline, caught it out of bounds with 55 seconds to go. Kenny Cheatham.
Great throw by Frost on the run. But the question is, was Cheatham in bounds? And the answer is yes.
40 yards away from a possible tie and overtime. Frost sprints hard to the left, fires low, incomplete. When he's incomplete, frequently, as Nebraska fans know, he will be low. He will bounce the ball. So now 51 seconds to go. 2nd and 10. Larry Smith and Missouri hoping to close out a monumental upset against top-ranked Nebraska. Tom Osborne and the Huskers trying to force a tie and overtime. 2nd down and 10. Here's Frost, the quarterback from the shotgun, deflected, incomplete. Diving, incomplete. And it is 3rd down and 10.
Steve Erickson
right there.
Yep, Steve Erickson, Brent, number 94, got up and blocked that ball. And it was almost intercepted by Al Sterling. Watch 94 here. Quit on his pass rush. Watch Sterling. Boy, that's real close to being intercepted. Ball hit the ground, though.
And the referee was looking right in. Now 3rd and 10 for Nebraska. Fires, got it. 1st down. Clock will stop at the 28 as Matt Davison, the 6'1 freshman, comes up with the big play for the Cornhuskers with 39 seconds to go. They are now 27 yards away. You think anybody's sitting down in Omaha right now or Lincoln? Here's Frost. Rolls to the right. Fires again at the 20-yard line. Complete, clock moving.
But that low throw made his receiver go down and not have the ability to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
And again, it was Cheatham working the right side. And they stopped the clock by spiking the ball with 21 seconds to go. Field goal won't help them. They must score and then kick an extra point to force this game into overtime. Mizzou and Larry Smith have been there before. Double overtime against Oklahoma State, a win in Stillwater a couple of weeks ago. And now trying to hang on. Nebraska 20 yards away. Your 3rd down and 2 is coming up. Davison and Lance Brown are off to the left. Frost Wants Cheatham. Got him. Out of bounds. No, they're going to keep it winding. But it is a first down, remember. So the clock will stop with 14 seconds and a first down for the Cornhuskers.
That was a real good throw by Scott Frost. That receiver caught that ball in self-defense.
Scott Frost with first down, and he'll stop it. We'll check with the coaches. 14 seconds. And 12 yards away. Well, Dan, you have been in a situation like this so many times before as the quarterback. Teams trying to scramble and get a big touchdown at the end of the game. What must a quarterback remind himself of right now?
Well, that you have more time than you really think. I mean, each play takes 4, 5, maybe 6 seconds. The key here is not rush your own mechanics. Just be cool, do what you do in practice all the time, and throw the ball as you normally would. A lot of quarterbacks here will tighten up. They might even panic a little bit here because they feel that they have to rush things.
Nebraska comes back now. Second down. They'll line up in the shotgun. Frost will come to the wide side. To the end zone. Battle at the 2-yard line. Incomplete is the rule. Davison saying he was interfered with by Shad Chris. He's the best defensive back at Missouri, and he did the job on the near side.
I talk about confidence a quarterback has in a true freshman receiver, and I think Davison has a beef there. Shad Chris was all over his back. There was contact before the ball got there.
Third down. Frost to the middle. Juggle, diving, touchdown, Nebraska. Davison on the deflection. Nebraska's a point away from tying the game. The deflection is caught. The fans have broken into the end zone. They expected the game to be over. But a touchdown was signaled for in the end zone. They'll clear the field and kick for the tie. We could be headed to overtime.
Well, they ought to turn the sprinklers on at that end of the field, get the fans back in the stands. This is an incredible play. Frost has all day to throw, looking over the entire field. Finally sees somebody he likes. Ball is popped up in the air, kicked up in the air, and Davison with a dive. Looks like Wiggins was the intended receiver. It looked like Wiggins kicked the ball up in the air.
Now Chris Brown. The most important extra point of the season for Nebraska. Needs the good snap. And we go to overtime. Chris Brown sends Nebraska and Missouri into the first overtime. But it was a freshman wide receiver, Davison, who somehow is able to make a miracle catch on a last-second deflection off what appeared to be a foot in the end zone. Ball kicked back up in the air by Chevin Wiggins, and Davison dashes in underneath it. And by just the margin of a shoelace, Nebraska has tied Missouri. We'll be right back. We'll quickly go over the rules of overtime in the college game. This is not sudden death. They'll get equal possession from the 25-yard line, and we'll repeat it until the tie is broken. Remember, this year, they must go for the two-point conversion starting in the third overtime. That doesn't mean they can't go forward in the first two. Oklahoma State, for example, gambled against Missouri and lost, and several other coaches have gambled this year and lost, too. So the coin toss.
You know, Brent talking to Larry Smith. Here we get the coin toss here. Those teams that win the toss defer.
Your call. This is heads, tails. If I drop it, we'll do it again. Nebraska calls heads, and it's tails. So it'll be your choice, Missouri.
Apparently Bronco Olivo didn't want Nebraska to find out what he was choosing down there. It was one of the more lighter moments that we've had here today. And clearly teams in a college game have decided a long time ago that you want the other team, if you win the flip, to go first. You want to know what you've got to match, and that's why they make this decision.
Well, and this is a matchless play, the touchdown. As Frost is going over the middle to Chevin Wiggins, Julian Jones makes a play on the ball, but Wiggins makes the play with his feet as he kicks it over his head to Davison, who clearly had his left hand under the ball for the touchdown. This is an incredible heads-up play by Wiggins as the ball is just floating there, and he boots it backwards to his buddy.
We'll take a break, and then we'll come back with our first overtime. Nebraska will have the ball 25 yards away from the end zone. The 15-yard line. So our officials jumped the gun on us just a little bit, but thankfully you were able to pick up on the end of that play as Amon Green was run out on the far side, and he is just short of a first down. Remember, you can get a first down here in overtime, and they would with another yard. This is second down and 1. First overtime, first possession. Scores tied at 38. And Amon Green for the first down to the 12-yard line. So it will be a first down coming up here. Fresh set of downs for Nebraska. So if we had enough excitement in this one, what a great, great college football game this wound up being.
And Nebraska, knowing that their #1 ranking is on the line, they haven't quit, they haven't buckled, they've faced down Corby Jones.
If I was Tom Osborne, I'd keep that Adidas shoe contract after that last kick in the end zone. First down and 10. Frost runs the option, flashes inside, 5, goes for the goal line. Touchdown. Remember, Missouri gets a chance to respond. It's not sudden death, not like the NFL.
How about 4 touchdowns on the ground today and tonight for Scott Frost? Remember the one he dove in earlier in the game for 15 yards out? Similar type of effort here as he sees the cone and goes right by the Tiger for the score.
Chris Brown. The extra point, and now Missouri needs 7 to force it into a second overtime. So it'll be up to Corby Jones, trailing 45-38.
7's kind of the magic number today, huh? Corby Jones wears 7, Scott Frost wears 7, and Larry Smith, he likes this record of his Tigers the last couple of years with the overtime. In fact, he told his ball club this week, he said, hey, why don't we play the entire game like we play overtime? I think they have today.
Ready to go from the 25. Take a running play, and Corby Jones in trouble. Sprints back, got a wide open man, chance incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. So there's a play they certainly saved for overtime. Send the big bus here in Missouri.
But there were no wide open receivers that time, as Nebraska just rushed 4 men, dropped 7 into the secondary. And believe me, Ron James is never going to be your primary receiver. Only has 2 catches on the year. Couldn't quite make the adjustment on that pass.
Second down and 10. Back into the eye with Olivo. Corby follows Blackwell, and he is down at the 21-yard line, and it is a big third down coming up. Chad Kelsey makes a stop defensively.
Don't you think Chad Kelsey's a little bit upset today with the way that Corby Jones has pulled away from him a couple of times? Watch this hit. There's no way that Corby's going to get away from number 57 that time.
Needing 7 yards for a fresh set of downs. Corby drops back from the option, throws back, diving reception, incomplete. Had it for just an instant, And it got away from Stubing. And fourth down is coming up.
But you know, Brent, why did they just run the ball on that 3rd down and 7 instead of throwing the ball? You have 2 downs to work with. They played that like it was a normal 3rd down, where if they didn't complete the pass for the 1st down, they would have to kick.
And now it is Osborne and the Cornhuskers who are a play away from a win. Jones under pressure, it's over. Nebraska wins it in overtime. A miracle finish. The Cornhuskers stay unbeaten. And a heartbreak for Missouri. Grant Wistrom and Mike Rucker close in. And Tom Osborne knows all too well that he got lucky late against Larry Smith and the Missouri Tigers. It was a great college football game. And regardless of losing this one, the Missouri Tigers have grown up here today. Our Chevrolet players of the game: Amon Green for Nebraska, Corby Jones for Missouri. Chevrolet donates $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. In overtime, Nebraska, after tying the game on a miracle catch in the end zone, beats Missouri 45-38. Judgment Day. Nebraska takes the victory, but they needed a little bit of luck to get there. So long, everybody.
That last touchdown pass